How's the preparation gone?
I've had a great week. It's you know, there's nothing better than these sort of games where everything's on the line, and so you know we've been able to get here early. We've had a good week in terms of going through our processes, and clearly very, very excited about what's going to be a big game tomorrow night.
Okay, question at the back here.
Jack, fair to say that, hey mate, how are you? Fair to say this is the biggest game of your career?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I've been fortunate in my career to have a lot of big games. You know, to start playing for the All Blacks in 2017, and then you know some Super Rugby games as well. But yeah, this would have to be the biggest one.
Sam, this is just another big game in your career. Do they get easier to deal with the more that you have them, or is it still that nice little knot in your stomach that you get before these big ones?
Yeah, these games are, while we play rugby, these games are the ones that when you're a little kid at home in the backyard, you dream about, and you always want to take the winning drop goal, but I don't think that'll be me. Fuzzy won't be very happy if I try to take a droppy, but you know, but that's the cool thing about it is us as players and the coaches, we're getting to live those dreams, those you know wet cold days when you're told to go outside because you're annoying mum and dad. We're getting to live that reality, so it's pretty awesome.
Is yours working?
G'day Jack, just how nice to play in such a big game alongside three other Crusaders in the back line that you've all kind of come through the ranks together, and like Richie, Sevu and George.
Yeah, I think you know, whoever's out there in the back line, they're all you know, good guys, huge amounts of talent. You know, it was clearly it would have been a tough back line to pick. But you know, I know Sevu, George and Richie well. You know, when you have those kind of connections through playing with them through Super Rugby, you know, they do help, but I think it doesn't make a huge difference just because there's so much talent in that back line.
One at the front here.
Ian, Joe Schmidt said yesterday that he didn't think he could surprise you guys. Now you'll know what's coming because of the 2 wins and how they got them previously. Do you agree with that, and particularly given the team he's picked, is it fairly predictable what they're going to do?
Oh, look, it's you know, I'm pretty sure they'll have some tricks up their sleeve. We like to think we've got a couple up our sleeve, so that's the nature of preparing for a big test match. But clearly we've both done a lot of work analysing each other, and so it's like every other test match really. You like to know your opponent, but to be honest, games like this are not so much often about a special trick or a surprise. It's about your confidence to how you deal with the pressure and how you keep executing your own game. And so it's one thing to know each other's game, it's another thing to execute it properly and to stop the other person doing it. So that's what players are about. You know, it's about having that composure to trust yourself and really back yourself to keep doing what you do well, and I'm sure that's what they're driving, and we're certainly driving that as well.
And given you've been here before, do you feel you're better equipped to handle those moments?
Oh, I think we've been here before and we've used that experience, I guess. I guess they've been in a lot of quarterfinals too. So knockout rugby is, it's about you just got to front up on the day and execute under that sort of pressure. So yep, we've been there, but it doesn't make it any easier. It just gives you the knowledge of what's at stake.
Jack, how important is it to prepare like you're preparing for any other game whilst balancing that with embracing the size of the occasion?
Yeah, it's really important to know your prep. That's the balance of, you know, it is another game, you've got to treat it like that, but at the same time you know what's at stake, you know, the circumstances. So Yeah, I'll try and keep a cool head and just do what I do normally, and I guess just try and do it to the best of my ability.
He has taken that stupid moustache off though, so that's a good sign that he's preparing well.
Got a bit of a hard time for that actually. I can't win in this team.
Ian, Steve Hansen's record is pretty special as a coach, even with the All Blacks and before that. How long do you and him go back, and what is it that's kind of made sure he's had such unbelievable longevity?
Look, he's really passionate about the team. He's passionate about the black jersey, and he's had, I think, 8 years before he took over as a head coach with Ted and Smithy, so he's worked with some great people. He's learned a lot, but he's got a really clear philosophy about how he wants to go about things, and he's done a magnificent job with us. But it's we use that experience when you go into these sort of games. And how long have I known him? I've known him for a long time, I guess, when I was at Super Rugby and he was with the All Blacks, and we used to have some interesting conversations in those days. But great man to work with, and we're making sure that we're just loving this week and using the experience, I guess, that we've had together to make sure that we just keep things nice and simple and look forward to Saturday.
Ian, I know how much you've loved our questions about the midfield, but now that you have named your combination, how long has this picture been clear in your mind, and how have you been able to develop two young centres to be ready for such a big occasion?
Yeah, well, it's, we've always had a plan in mind to some degree, but I mean, as Jack and Sam will testify, it's how you train and how you play. It also has got a major influence on selection. So it's one thing for coaches to have a long-term plan, but we've got to assess that weekly, and so it's been a tough decision in the midfield, and it's a tough decision not so much who to put in, but who to leave out, because there's all four of them we would have been quite happy to put into those 12 and 13 jerseys. We just felt for this game, we think Albie's playing really well at the moment, full of energy. We think Jack's come back from a hamstring and has got back to the level that we know he can play at. So, we like this combination, but the same side of it, we've got Sonny there, and he's probably playing the best I've seen him play for 12, 18 months. There's been a lot of energy there too, and Crotts did a great job against South Africa. So we've got some good choices, but for whatever reason, we just think these two for this one, great way for us to start.
Sam, have you seen much of James Ryan, and if so, what have you made of him?
Yeah, we've played against each other a couple of times now. He's the, little bit, fresh to international rugby. He's had a few seasons there, but what he does do, he does it really well. When he carries the ball, carries it hard, and is a key member of their squad, and he's been named to play, so he's going to go out there and do everything he can to make sure that, they're in a good position. So for us, making sure that we're aware of his strengths and hopefully try take away some of them.
At the back.
Fozzie, 4 years ago, heading into the quarter-final, all the talk was about a previous encounter. Has that experience, or what has that experience in 2015, has it made it easier for you to deal with this week, given once again we're talking a lot about previous encounters?
Yeah, I don't think it's been part of our conversation at all the last couple of years. I think when you're, I think we always remember our losses pretty clearly, but you try and learn from them, and then you move forward. And it's interesting when you look at how far or the things that we've changed in the last 12 months, and we have changed a number of things, and a lot of those are because of some performances we had last year that we weren't totally proud of. So it's you learn your lessons at the time, and then you take them forward, and then you evolve things. So I think it's a different group we've got this year. I think they're excited. They're confident to play, and you know, our challenge of going into a big game is to make sure that we don't dampen that confidence. You know, we've obviously got to be smart, and there's potential rain, we're playing a team that likes to suffocate you, all those sort of things, and we've got to respect all those elements. But the same side is we've still got to just make sure that we go out there and do what we want to do well.
Ian, your two wingers have made a huge amount of ground in a short space of time. Could you just maybe give us an insight what those two guys are like and what you see from them that they've edged out some maybe more experienced guys?
Yeah, good question. You know, they've certainly impressed the last 2 seasons at super level, well, in Sevu's case 1 year, and I mean, I think the way that they came and took their opportunities in what was a pretty significant game for us, that second Goodhue Cup test, showed us that they could handle the pressure, that they could not be subdued by it was probably the best word for it. They could still carry on playing. So, and they've continued that. So there's a little bit of fearlessness about them. You know, there's some of it's because they probably haven't been to the World Cup before and probably don't know what's at stake in some sense, but they're really sensible young men. They train hard, they play hard, and like again, it's pretty much the same conversation as the midfield. When you haven't got Ben and Rico in the group, they're tough decisions because they're two pretty special people in our group. But we just felt that George and Sevu have done enough to show that there's a bit of a spark there, and we'll run with that.
The mic.
Hi Jack. A few of the boys have had haircuts this week, quite a number of them anyway. Is there something about shedding a few kilos on top of your head, look good, play good before the playoffs?
Not getting rid of the mullet, Kirsty. Look, you can ask this every week or something, but it's not going. There's actually scientific evidence that shows it actually makes me faster.
Wow.
It was done at Harvard, I think, did the scientific...
That's a university, isn't it?
Jack, when you get married, are you going to cut it? You know, your wedding's coming up. Is it going to stay for that or not? Did you say it publicly?
Did you read the Women's Day article? It said you'll find out on the day, won't you?
There are a few malfunctions. I don't think George was very happy with the haircut he got. It was a bit short on the sides. Would you trust them, or would you trust them, Sam, the local hairdressers?
I've talked about my hair before. I think I've got 4 haircuts left, so trying to make the most of them.
To be fair, it has been a highlight of the week. They line up all these chairs in the team room, and they've got about 6 or 7 hairdressers come in, and it's actually quite a show. So there's been some miscuts, I guess, but George Bridge won. He's hoping for some very sunny days to get rid of the white line right around the back of the neck, but don't look at it tomorrow because you'll embarrass him.
Okay, Liam?
Ian, there'll probably be a few nerves floating around tomorrow. How important is it that you start well? If you look back to when Ireland have beaten the All Blacks, they've got away and their confidence have gone, but equally they've probably been a wee bit vulnerable when asked to chase the game?
Well, I think your first question, Liam, will there be some nerves around? Heck yeah. You know, that's what it's all about. And it's not a matter of not being nervous. It's about acknowledging that you are nervous and you turn that into a positive excitement. So I think, you know, that's what big occasions are about. And your comment about the start, well clearly it's, you always want to start a big game well. Both teams will want to do that. They want to be able to impose themselves early, and for us it's important. It's something that we want to do really, really well. We'd like to be able to, scoreboard pressure is something pretty powerful. It's something that we know that they like to accumulate, and they're quite happy to do that and put you under pressure that way. So, but nothing really changes, does it? You know, do we want to start? Well, yes, we do. We'd love to. There's, but at the same side, we've got to prepare for every situation we can. Some things happen early that you can't control, or you can control and don't do that well, and we just got to make sure we just stay true to what we are, because ultimately, whilst you want to start well, we know it's going to be an 80-minute game, and we've got a great opponent who we know are tenacious and will play all the way to the end, and so we have to as well.
Jack, just how important has Ryan Crotty been to your career as a whole and this week especially?
Yeah, very important. To put it simply, hugely influential. When I first started playing with him in 2014 for Canterbury, he's been a mentor. He's given me a lot of tips. And he's just really actually been just a good guy and a good friend to play with. So I'm really grateful for the games that we played together and just for all the times and the trainings and everything, all the conversations that we've had about rugby and other things. A really good man.
Any more questions? My Japanese media colleagues? No? Thank you very much, everybody. That concludes today's briefing. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.